And thanks for joining us at noon on this Tuesday on Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you to all of those who have served and are serving our nation. We start off with our meteorologist, Sean Ash. The weather is the big story today. It's kind of blustery and cold and yucky and
okay.
not so great. And that's why the parade was canceled today, you know, and moved inside for the ceremony. But we got to hang in there because better days are coming.
24 hours from now, it's going to be a much different story.
Good.
But yes, we had wind chills in the teens and low 20s this morning. Yeah, just not very pleasant even in this hour. It hasn't improved too much. Let me show you what's going on here across central Indiana. Forecast playing out as expected here. That blanket of gray over us. Most of which is going to be harmless. Now, I do want to point your attention to that camera there in Bainbridge, which is west facing. Starting to notice a little bit of breaks in the cloud deck in far western Indiana. It's just gray as it gets here over the metro area. Temperatures across the state, at least in our viewing area right now, are in the 30s, but you can see that wind. It's from the southwest, but it's very gusty. And it definitely still has some sting to it, with wind chill values hovering right around 20. So it is just not a real comfortable day. You mentioned that camera in Bainbridge, so this is what it's picking up on. A few breaks in the cloud deck. Not expecting much for that to get into the eastern part of the state. And by the way, there may be a few flurries, but I do believe we will occasionally get some sun breaks here later in the afternoon. It's just not going to warm us up much at all. We're in the low to mid 30s right now, expecting highs to get closer to the lower 40s, but wind chills are going to be a bit uncomfortable. We do have temperatures that will warm up, and it's going to get brighter when we could hit 70 degrees in the latest 7-day forecast here in a few moments.
All right, Sean, thanks so much. And now to the latest headlines. We are following two deadly shootings across Indianapolis this morning. The first on Indy's near southeast side. It happened around 3:30 this morning on Gale Street near Prospect Street and South Sherman Drive. Police say they found a man shot. He died at the scene. No suspect information at this time, but anyone who has any information right now is urged to contact IMPD or call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. That second shooting happened on the near northeast side near Washington Park. Police tell us they were called to North Oxford Street shortly after 5 this morning, and that's where they found a person shot. We have since learned that person died, and police now are still working to find out what led up to that shooting. And turning now to a push for justice for the woman who was shot and killed outside a home in Whitestown. We know the prosecutor now is digging through the evidence surrounding this tragic situation. The victim in the case pictured here, 32-year-old Maria Florinda Rios Perez. She was killed last week after police say that her job cleaning houses took her to the wrong address. Alex Almanza has more on the mourners gathered to honor her life and those who are also demanding answers and action.
Friends, family, and neighbors gathered here at the Boone County Prosecutor's Office to remember Maria Perez, who was shot and killed after she knocked on the wrong door.
In the November cold, warm flames, and one message repeated, translating to no justice, no peace.
Sin justicia, no hay paz.
Followed by moments of silence, while they prayed for comfort, for strength, and even for the person who pulled the trigger.
Padre, también te pedimos por aquellas.
Father, we also ask you for those people, Lord, who unfortunately took Maria's life. Lord, because we know that in some way their minds are troubled, their hearts are troubled. Maria's husband, Mauricio Velasquez, says his wife was kind, hardworking, and faithful, and that their family just wants answers. We earned money and worked from sunrise to sunset. My Maria was there. It was dark at 5 a.m., and we didn't get out till 8 p.m. The family says they met with the county prosecutor earlier in the day. Their attorney says investigators are still reviewing evidence. Business owner Andre Adams says the loss has shaken the community.
This is especially tragic because now she will never return to her home. We are here to show our solidarity as both business owners and concerned citizens.
Family and friends say they'll keep showing up until there's justice for Maria.
Que Dios nos marcó para poder llegar.
On November 23rd, the nonprofit Alma in Indianapolis will host a resource drive for Perez's family to provide them with food, clothing, and other necessary items. In Boone County, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
New developments now in the Delphi murders case, as today officially marks 1 year since Richard Allen was found guilty for the 2017 murders for Abby Williams and Libby German. It was just last night that the court released more than 1,000 pages of exhibits. They were requested by the team who right now is working to put together an appeal for Richard Allen. He currently is serving 130 years. Several weeks ago, Allen's appellate attorneys notified the court they had not received all the exhibits filed in the case, and the Court of Appeals ordered the trial court then to send them over. And last night, they did just that. And we still are now working our way through all of the pages and all of the documents. For highlights, we can tell you it includes a couple of long transcripts. It also has dozens of pages of photos and documents, potentially that could be used in the appeal, and they're related to other potential suspects. Also to bring up the theory that the religious practice of Odinism played a role in the deaths. This appeal would need to be filed by the week before Christmas, so we'll be keeping an eye on it. In other news now, all across the country, the government shutdown could finally now be coming to an end. It's been 42 days since funding lapsed, and it was last night that the Senate approved a bill to fund the federal government through January 31st. Ahead here at noon at 12:15, we're taking a closer look at what this means for low-income families after millions who rely on SNAP benefits were put in limbo. That includes more than 600,000 people here in Indiana. But starting today, many of those people could see some of those dollars coming back. So make sure you check your EBT card, and you could see an up to a 65% of what your typical balance is. That is just for this month and what is being processed at the state level. If you check your balance today and you see no change to it, you could be one of the 4,000 Hoosier families not getting disbursement. The FSSA says it's all because of federal calculations and that those families will receive full benefits once funding is restored. Indiana Governor Mike Braun says the state now is positioned to move quickly to deliver full benefits to qualifying households as soon as possible. Indiana state lawmakers on the fence about redistricting soon are going to feel additional pressure. There's a nonprofit with ties to the president that is now launching a six-figure advertising campaign to back redistricting in the upcoming session. And this comes from our news gathering partners at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. The group, called Fair Maps Indiana, says it will target districts whose senators are still undecided. The campaign will include voter phone calls, digital, TV ads, and mail. The man in charge leads a political strategy firm which worked for the last two Trump campaigns. Next month, Indiana state lawmakers will consider redrawing the state's congressional districts ahead of the midterm elections that are coming up in the fall of 26. Hoosier Republicans right now, if you look at this map, hold a 7-2 advantage in the U.S. House. But those who support redistricting want to see all 9 seats go Republican. Democrats are calling that a power grab. Today is Veterans Day, a time set aside to pay tribute to those who served in the U.S. military and are serving right now. And to kick off festivities today in Westfield, the city hosted their annual ceremony to honor vets. It highlights the history and significance of this day. It was a breakfast followed by live performances and gifts for the veterans. Governor Mike Braun also in attendance addressing the crowd in Westfield earlier today. Also, the Benjamin Harris presidential site is also paying a special tribute for vets. And if you're anywhere near the site around sunset today, chances are you're going to hear it too. A lone bugler will be performing taps on the front lawn of President Harrison's historic residence. That's at sunset, which tonight officially will be at 5:32 p.m. If you can't catch it in person, you can also watch it. They will be offering it on Facebook. 13 News also wants to take some time to thank everyone who served and is serving our nation. That includes our Hoosier heroes. Today, we introduce you and recognize Lieutenant Colonel Jerry B. Anderson. Anderson retired from the U.S. Air Force at Grissom Air Base after serving more than 22 years. He served as a pilot and instructor pilot of the famous B-58 Hustler, setting numerous world speed records. Anderson served in Vietnam and Thailand, as well as several U.S. bases. He is 90 years old and now lives in Carmel. We also want to thank Bede Johnson. Johnson serving in the Army from 1983 to 1993. Thank you, gentlemen, for your service.